us go get some rucksacks, and inside the rucksacks was another white bag.
There's a sand pit, and they tell us to run down there and fill them like a little over halfway full. Well, you're guessing.
You're not trying to set any world records, you're just trying to get a quarter.
I should have known to overachieve that. You know, I quartered my bag and measured it. Okay, here's a quarter, and I filled it to that quarter. And there's a 17-year-old girl from Alabama there. She fills hers plumb near halfway full. Well, he uses hers as a gauge and calls her up and says, you, use your bag as a gauge to measure everybody else's. If they're lighter than yours, bring them up to me.
So her bag ends up weighing more than a lot of the other guys' bags, mine included.
I was standing in line there, and she actually picked up mine and took it to the front. I'm like, oh, man, don't tell me.
He says, everybody whose bag's up here, come up here.
Don't go anywhere yet.
They didn't say they wanted a particular weight. They said a quarter of the way. So I looked at my bag, and I was like, hey, that's a quarter of sand. I'll put it in there.
So they called us up, and then luckily he took mine. He was like, get back in line. I was like, all right, I'm in the clear.
The rest of you guys had a 17-year-old girl pack more sand in her bag than you guys did. So, because you lowballed, you're gonna go grab one of those logs, and that's your weight for the day, including your sandbag. Go, get back in line, hurry up.
Yeah, I mean, it was a heavy sandbag, but it just wasn't half a sandbag. A lot of people had half sandbags, and if that's what they would have said, that's what I did. They told me a quarter, so in my mind, it was a quarter filled.
All right, so now what you're gonna do is you're gonna take that sandbag and you're gonna put it inside your rucksack. And if you are lucky enough to have a log, you can put that in there too.
As midday nears, the group is instructed to load up their gear and move out. To where or what, they do not know.
Let's go, ladies!
Hopped in the Deuce, and they took us up to the hiking trails that I believe is Cloudland Canyon. As soon as we got out of the Deuce, we weren't able to walk. We had to grab our weapons that we had loaded into another truck and our backpacks that were filled with sand, some with logs.
The first little stint, they took off jogging, and I couldn't keep up. And everybody had to wait till I got there, and they were in the plank position with their rucksacks. So it was punishment for leaving a man behind.
We gotta get Warner up front.
They were suffering because of me, and I felt bad, I really did, but they wasn't gonna let me stop, and I had no intentions of stopping. I was telling everybody to leave me. I'll meet you at the top of the mountain eventually.
Some people went in thinking they were trying to beat certain people, but I mean, they broke that down from the get-go that we're there together. And if one person's failing, we all got to fail. If one person succeeds, we all have to succeed.
Take your time, Warner. Nobody's waiting on you. Come on, Warner. Come on, Warner. You got this. Come on, Warner. There you go. Everybody up.
They wasn't real happy at me, you know, but then I got leading the pack because, you know, that's the best way, put the slowest man first.
Big steps, just step it out. I'm not running. We're up front. This is the best place to be.
It was really a beautiful hike up the mountain, but I was suffering the whole time. My legs just kept knotting up. I got to where my legs were almost shot, getting completely shot, but I still decided I wasn't quitting. We had to hop in the creek a few times because cold water will help a cramp.
Most of my Cloudland Canyon adventures is with my family on beautiful days, and you know, got good snacks in the back and feeling great, and so it was a different taste at Cloudland Canyon. Some of these guys that aren't from around here, they did not have a clue how much further it was, and it was really impressive to see some of those guys that didn't know where they were, didn't know how much further they were going. We almost got into that robotic kind of mind frame where one foot in front of the other. Whatever it takes, I'm going, I'm going, I'm going.
You know, I'm shuffling my feet, barely able to walk. And some of the other guys, they took my weapon, they took my bag, and then they ended up supporting me, you know, like, almost like a dead person. I had a guy on each arm, and they drug me up the mountain, more or less. And we get to the steps, which was very hard to walk up steps if you can't bend your legs, you know, so I felt like I was stiff-legged walking up, almost 1,000 steps or something.
There was points where I was going up those stairs. I would walk one flight of steps, walk a little ways, and stop because I was dead. Then I'd try to go again and stop because, you know, I'm thinking, man, you only walk 20 steps, dude. What's going on?
Go ahead, Roger.
No, we don't leave.
They're behind me.
That doesn't matter. I'm your teammate right now.
I might have to climb a pole one day really fast, and if I can't breathe, who's to say the guy on the pole's gonna live because I'm not taking care of myself? So I think it opened up my eyes to get myself into the size and the shape I need to be.
Throughout the whole thing, my mind wasn't giving up, but my body, my body did give up. From the get-go, I done decided they're gonna kick me out. Yeah, or they're gonna kick me out before I quit. And then at some point you do, that mentality wears on. My body can't take it much more, you know. And a lot of it was me wondering, how much longer are they gonna let me before they pull me, you know?
I think maybe Andrew came in the same way I did, you know, hey, I'm just gonna sign up and do it, and found out that wasn't the best idea. He wasn't the first, just like I wasn't the first, but we ended at the same time, and that's what mattered.
Keep moving now. Keep moving.
Reaching the top of the mountain with the midday sun is a small victory for the exhausted group. Former Commander Devine has some words of encouragement.
Most of the kids or young men who quit SEAL training, it's because of an emotional breakdown. For the guys who quit this morning, their lesson is going to be something different, isn't it? They're going to be thinking about the weakness that was exposed and hopefully what they can do about it. You know, there's a saying in the SEALs, failure is not an option, and it's like a parable. What it means is the only option is failure and learning from that failure. Because if you're not pushing the envelope, if you're not testing yourself, then you're not growing. No one said it would be easy, we just said it'd be worth it.
You could really tell that Mark, with his 19 years of being in the Navy SEALs, had really just honed in on some deep thoughts of how to get control of yourself and of your life, and to break away from this generation that's really spineless, you know, that won't get up and make a difference. So I really enjoyed every moment that we got to calm down and listen to those words of wisdom from Mark.
I want you guys to consider from here on out that every day you're trying to get better, 1%, that's all you need. So that's the difference, like 1% can set you off an entirely new trajectory in your life. That's why we named this 20X. You're capable 20 times more than you think you are. You're proving it today. 10 years from now, who knows? Like if you could take a snapshot of you not doing 20X 10 years from now and you who did 20X 10 years from now, you'd be in entirely different places. And again, it's not because you leave here thinking, oh, I got it all figured out. It's because you leave here with momentum and you try to get 1% better every day. So what are you willing to do? What are you willing to sacrifice to get 1% better in one area? We can provide some inspiration, provide some crucible experience, we can provide some knowledge, but none of that means anything if you guys don't do the work. Booyah?
Booyah! It's not just about beating us down, it's also about building us up, creating a new creature than what was at the beginning.
We worked out up there for a little while and played with our sandbag.
Running circles, picking them up, sit-ups, racing, doing all kinds of stuff. And I never wanted to quit because I was hurting. I could take the suffering. But some of the games we were doing, I was causing my teammates to suffer.
Burpees.
I went to one of the coaches. I walked over to him and I said, I'm the weak link here. You know, said I need to bail out. And he looked at me and he said, get back in there. He said, if you're not the weak link, somebody else will be. So I went right back in there and started. And I got a bunch of videos of me, I think, holding up the tree. Just let you know that tree is still standing. I'm proud to say I held it up. And it might have been Coach Derek at some point. Just prop up on the tree. Just hold the tree up, Warner. Hold the tree up, you know.
This bag is going to represent the garbage that you carried in with you today. On this trip down the mountain, you will be carrying this bag in a front rack position. You will not let it down because this bag represents the burden you carry.
So I really took that time to reflect on how I could be more selfless for my family, my coworkers, and everyone around me. You know, I've noticed lately getting so caught up in my career path and the schooling that I may have started to become self-centered and to just focus on what I have to do.
I'm like scared to fail at things, so I feel like that holds me back a lot. You know, just getting past fears, I guess. Maybe like, you know, the fear of not telling people how you really feel, and then when it's like too late, you can't say it to them anymore, you know? Or like there's, I don't know, things that you should have said that you didn't say. And you're walking down there, you're carrying this thing, and you're carrying this sandbag in front of you, and you just like really think about like, okay, like, you know, where do I want to be in life? What's holding me back? What will help me get rid of these burdens?
I think the being lazy part was my burden that I was trying to get down. Being lazy with the training for this event. If I would have put the effort, I probably would have did a lot better. But I didn't like working out at that time, and I paid for it. And it made me realize that maybe I should put a little more effort into working out. It wasn't bad going down until we got to our backpacks, and then we got the extra gift, the rock.
So what did Coach Tim talk about up at the top of the mountain before you guys started coming down here with your sandbags? Get rid of your burdens, right? On the way down here was your time to focus on what those things were for you as an individual in your own head. Yet I heard some of you singing 99 bottles of beer on the wall. I heard some of you talking about throwing your sandbags in the woods. We don't tell you these things because we like to hear ourselves talk. We tell you these things because we live it. We breathe it. We do it every day. If you think this is a joke, what we're doing out here, pick up your and go. Since some of you chose to use that opportunity as a way to just do, that evolution is not ended. Behind you, you're gonna find a rock. Turn around, pick it up. Follow Coach Darren. Maybe now you'll start to think about the things we're talking about.
So we had to walk with this rock all the way until the end of the trail.
I had a pretty good sized rock. At least it was when you're tired.
Everything's burning. Tired. Hungry. Cramps. I thought I was coming to a bake sale.
He would have to readjust things, and I'd just make sure to say an encouraging word. Come on, Pops, man, we're doing this. And he was encouragement too. He would always have something positive to say. Very good attitude through it all.
I was trying to motivate as best I could, but then I needed to be motivated. There was a couple of people who had to say, hey, Pops, you need to keep going, don't quit. And I'm glad they did.
What we're going to do is enter the water. You will all be standing in this area here. Once everyone is in the water, you'll take your rocks and hold them overhead.
I slipped a little bit, then the backpack shifted, and there I went. I got up and shifted again. Anyway, the backpack went, that's my whole body went, because I had nothing left in my legs.
You are going to take your rock, and right behind you here is a flat rock. You are going to make a cairn, which is a stack of rocks in an organized manner to leave a landmark. Are you ready? Yes. Move. Everybody reach into the person in front of you, pull out the sandbag. Hand it to the person whose bag you took it out of. Get the sandbag over your head. The longer you guys take, the longer you hold it. When you're ready, I would like you to turn around, walk into the middle of the stream, and let go of the that you're carrying over your head. That prevents you from being the person you want to be. When you're ready to set those things aside, take that sandbag and let that sand into the stream.
It kind of did feel like the burden was gone from you, you know, like I can definitely see why they say what they say to you and like why they make you do the things that they do now. When we released that sand, it was such a great feeling. I was just like, yeah, I don't have to carry that sand anymore.
When I got to the end where we had to put down the sandbag and the rock, that was kind of what I was letting myself say, all right, maybe you shouldn't be so lazy and just get yourself back where you need to be.
That last stretch of the hike was so more enjoyable. For one, it's downhill, and for two, the weight's off of us. And three, another phase of Sealfit is done.
All right, guys, I think most of you probably coming off a little bit of a high from the mountaintop, and the will to live. The day's not over. We do this workout to honor Lieutenant Michael Murphy and his sacrifice that he made.
Navy SEAL Lieutenant Michael Murphy received the Medal of Honor in 2005. While fighting in Afghanistan, Murphy showed undaunted courage, giving his own life to protect his fellow soldiers.
If you don't give it your all, you don't bring honor to him. 100% of the effort, 100% of the time.
After Cloudland Canyon, coming down, my knees did something that they've never done before. I've never had that pain. It was just severe tendonitis. So when we got back to the campus and started the Murph, I did my lap and running and was literally just wanting to crawl.
Let's go, Michael!
As a team, the group must complete over 100 reps.
You guys owe this guy a cookie. Nice! Come on, finish! Be strong now! Keep going!
You think of your team and like, you know, okay, if I, you know, give them my all, it's gonna be less they have to go through. And then physically, I enjoy pushing myself. Like, I just kind of got out there like, all right, let's see what I can do, you know, let's see how I can contribute to my team. You know, I'm gonna give it 110%.
You want to cheat reps? You want to short stroke it? I don't care. You have to live with your integrity and who you are as a person. If you came here to be a guy that cuts corners, you'll leave here a guy that cuts corners. If you came here to be a better person, then do better.
After the Murph, we were told when we finish up, go down to the grinder, hydrate.
We went back to that pad and they had the hose out again. I was like, oh man, I thought we were done.
We start burpees and this and that, and then they're pulling us back into the ice baths again. A repeat of the morning, you know. Here we go again.
Honestly, I'm just like, I'm already so far in. I might as well get something from it now. Like some sort of satisfaction that I finished. If I quit now, I'm like, man, I'm gonna be so disappointed in myself.
At that point, it's really like you're in that robotic. I'm doing whatever it takes. I'm getting through this. We've already been put through the ringer. You know, bring it on. I'm just giving my all.
That's like a real team effort right there. Like, everybody has to be on the same page so it goes smoothly.
If you're not holding your 20% of that pole, then you're putting that on everybody else's shoulders.
If somebody wasn't lifting at the same time, you felt the weight of that pole on you.
And even though you're tired, even though you can't hold it anymore, like, you think about the person above you and you're just like, I can't let him down, you know? Find something, like some reason to finish.
LTC class number 7. You are secured.
It kind of took some of us a second, right? And then we're like, secure, you know, it registered. And then we just saw, we're like, yeah, hell yeah, we did it.
Hearing those words, "you are secured," I swear I felt like I could have cried.
This generation has sadly lost its backbone. And I want to be in the forefront, standing the ground and get over wanting to quit. I knew that Sealfit 20X would definitely be a key in doing that to me.
Some of that stuff is tough. It makes you mentally better, you know, stronger. At the end, you know, you realize, you know, it was all worth it.
This nation is like a herd of cattle. Don't go to the slaughterhouse. Split off. Get some weakness out of you. Make a difference, and you won't regret it.
We started with 38, ended with 27. I could have joined those 11. I could be number 12, but I didn't. You find out who you are, and you find out how far you can dig. Are you gonna quit, or are you gonna stay?